Hi, my name is John. I am a healthcare professional who managed his IBS the past 10 years. And I want to share with you my personal struggle and how I manage my IBS symptom and episode throughout these past 10 years. So let's talk about it. So let's first talk about what is IBS. IBS is irritable bowel syndrome. It could range from mild to severe where you could apply for disability because most of the time with episode you will be in pain and you might be bedbound. Personally for me, my struggle is a little bit in the middle to a more mild. Sometimes I do have an episode where I will be kind of out the whole day, but for the past 10 years, I learned how to control my symptom and my episode to prevent major severe episode. So just for context, growing up, when I was a little kid, I used to get homeschooled because every time I go to school, I will be sent home because I have stomach pain. And yeah, and that's one of the reasons why my family immigrated over to America for my treatment. And I didn't really get diagnosed with the IBS until I think sophomore year in college. During freshman year, I have my IBS symptom, but I went to UCLA for undergrad, and all the UCLA doctor did many tests, and I did blood tests, I did different tests, exam and ultrasound, and eventually like the poop test. Yeah, I actually did the poop test also, and eventually they conclude that I have IBS, and then they tell me, okay, here what you need to do: make sure to control your eating habit, know your eating schedule, and you need to pretty much minimize your dairy and any processed food. Try to minimize your gluten intake. So after that, I'm very much be very conscious of what I need to eat. When you do have an IBS episode, you feel like, how can I say it? It's not your stomach, but it's more like intestine. The best way for me to explain it is that imagine you have a balloon, and that balloon is kind of going down through your stomach, intestine, and you kind of rubbing with it. So you feel that really irritable in your like bowel movement, and technically that's why it's called irritable bowel syndrome, because it's affect your intestine and bowel movement. So that's why a lot of people say that night, every time we have an episode, we feel like we need to go to the restroom, but technically not really. We just have that pain that sometimes it's like, I feel like you're just getting stabbed. I don't know about other people. For me, I feel like sometimes it's like mini stab inside my intestine, and that's very sharp pain. And it could go to from chronic to acute, but again, it's dependent on what I eat. So I am very conscious of what I put in my body, both like food and drinks. So how do I manage my IBS? First, I want to talk about the most crucial thing in managing IBS is stress. Yes, stress is the most crucial thing about managing IBS because you could be conscious about what you eat and drink, but if you are in a stressful environment, it can trigger your IBS symptom and lead to an episode. So please be aware of your environment and understand what can trigger you, what can trigger your stress level, increase your stress level, and try to avoid or minimize putting yourself in a stressful situation. Personally, for me, who work in the healthcare field, most time I am in a stressful environment, but at the same time, I totally understand that, hey, like, I am in a stressful environment taking care of my patient. So I will try to make sure that I have a, how can I say this, stress relief meditation or breathing technique to make sure that I am eventually like more relaxed after I work out or in a stressful environment. Intermittent fasting is a crucial step for me to control my eating habit and eating schedule, because I realized that after this past 10 years, my eating habit is kind of all over the place, especially when I was working as an EMT, working 24 and 48-hour shift. And so my eating habit was kind of all over the place. And that's when my IBS symptom and episode got worse during the EMT days, where I don't sleep. It was in very stressful environment, and I kind of eat and drink all over the place at different time. But now after I transitioned from the clinical side from the hospital over to the desk job doing a management work for healthcare, I have more strict schedule. So I implement intermittent fasting. So I do a late lunch and then early dinner. So I will skip breakfast and I don't eat after 7 or 8, 6 or 7 p.m. So because of that, I managed to limit down the timeline of what I eat and drink. And because of that, my IBS episode and symptom is very manageable now. I don't have much IBS episode anymore unless I decide to eat dairy or more gluten or processed food. So that's another thing. Please watch out and minimize your gluten, processed food, and dairy. But of course, if you're watching this and you have IBS, you know to avoid that, or at least minimize your intake of gluten, dairy, and processed food. But we are human, and I love comfort food. I love eating pizza, cheeseburger, and just junk food. So once in a while, it's fine. But I know that, hey, if I'm gonna go out, if I drink alcohol and then to kind of let myself go, at the end of the night, I'm pretty sure I will have an episode. But I know I plan it out. I say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and then the rest of the day or the night, I'm just gonna be in bed and watching and chilling TV and YouTube. So just plan out your day and make sure that, hey, limit the intake of gluten, processed food, and dairy. And if you do want to have some of that, just plan out your night so you to make sure that you can relax and then take care of yourself and recover from the IBS episode. Let me know down in the comment what is your struggle with IBS, how you manage your IBS, what food, what drink do you avoid. Personally for me, I love eating food, going out with my friends, but at the same time, I know that, hey, take one small bite and that's it. If I take more bites, I might get sick, I might get an episode, and that's not good for anyone. But at the same time, it doesn't have to limit your life. And if you have IBS, I totally understand your pain and your struggle. If you have anything that you want me to talk about healthcare, please let me know down in the comment. Take care of yourself, and I will see you again on the next video. Bye. Take care.